age. Okay, you hear that, don't take your dog out until he has all his vaccines, or don't take him out until he's 6 months of age. Okay, lots of early isolation, and I'll get a little bit into that this afternoon in the puppy talk. But many times also what I see is they've done some socialization, so they took their puppies to a puppy class, they've socialized them with other dogs, they've said they did well, and then all of a sudden they stop.
What do you do when your dog is on leash and another dog approaches it?
Oh yeah, what do you do? We do teach this in our level 2 class, and I will go over that too. But what we call sort of it's an emergency stop. And what we tell people to do is they're walking their dog and you see a dog coming. So we actually practice this in our level 2. And it's quickly, you're walking side by side, and oops, now you see the dog. It's quickly step in front, sit, stay, boom. I'm in front of my dog. Or down, stay, boom. And I will be the body blocker. So I'm the goalie now. So the dogs have got to have fast sits, fast downs, reliable stays. We work them to death. Leave it alone, I'll take care of the situation. Your dog needs to be reliable and listening to you. And that's what the feisty dogs are doing. They're starting to learn that I need to look to my owner for guidance on this and not just react. Good question. All right. So, there could be specific fear memories too. The dog is afraid, this is what we see, the dog is afraid of a particular place where the dog might have been attacked. So there are visual cues there. So if the dog is taken to that same environment, okay, so right away they start getting aroused. And you see this a lot. For example, the people will say, my dog knows exactly, because a dog broke through the electronic fence and attacked my dog there. And every time we start getting close to that area, the dog starts to become aroused. So it could be related to a specific area, then they're taken in other areas and they're fine. Okay? So we really insist that people start taking their dogs off of their regular walk too, off of their territory per se, because the behavior is typically worse when they go on the same walk in that territory. The dog is calm with one type of dog and then goes berserk with another. Okay, so that could be touch related. So they're fine with like say, maybe you get these dogs are walking nicely and maybe herding breeds your dogs are fine with. Now all of a sudden they see very bouncy Goldens and Labs. They can't handle that. You need high level of owner commitment. We find that dogs who have a low history of fights do the best. What is the bite threshold? So if they have had fights, were they just quick spats? Were there inhibited bites? Okay, they're going to be more successful. Exercise. People think that dogs self-exercise. If you ask people, does your dog get exercise? Oh yeah, he runs around the yard all the time. To me, that's not exercise. All right, so you need to explain to them what constructive exercise is. Okay? Dogs don't wear heart rate monitors and think, okay, I did 2 laps yesterday. I'm going to start to build on my heart rate now, and I'll do 4 tomorrow. They're getting rid of pent-up energy. Exercise also increases serotonin to the brain, and when you have an increase of serotonin in the brain, it lowers aggression. Stuff a dog. We discourage free feeding. We ask them what the dog's feeding schedule is. So if the dog is being free fed, or even worse, we have had a couple clients who are feeding raw diet, which you hate to discourage if that's what they want, but what do you then find for them to use as a reward food-wise? Okay? And then we talk about classical counter-conditioning, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay, we teach 2 types of markers, and you need to teach the marker to the dog. People say, oh no, the dog listens. When I say no, the dog stops. Well, how did you teach no? What does no mean? Oh, he knows what it means. How does he know what it means? How did you teach it? Well, I didn't teach it. I just told him. Okay, so you have to explain to them that the dog doesn't know. It's probably the tone of your voice that stops the dog. He doesn't know what it means. So if you're going to use either a positive or a negative marker, you have to associate it with a certain consequence. Here's where I talked a little bit about play, where we'll interject some toys into it. So this is a stress indicator for us too. If we've got some dogs who we know they like to play, and they are playing, then we know the stress level is down. And when people are playing with their dogs too, then both species are breathing. Sorry for the quality here. This just happens to be an old video. There we go. Know your dog's warning signs, too. Overstimulation may cause the dog to stop responding. So if he starts to become overly aroused or overstimulated, and then they're not responding, they think that the dog's being stubborn. Okay? They come up with all these excuses. Explain to them the dog can't hear at this point. Okay? Let's calm the dog down first, and then we'll go back to it. A dog will exhibit some displaced behaviors when they're in conflicting situations. When they're in socially conflicting situations, they may exhibit some displaced behaviors. And I just want to clarify the term calming signals. Calming signals is just a term that was made up, but what it is, it's a combination of appeasement and displaced behaviors. We actually will teach appeasement behaviors because they are signals to dogs that they don't want to interact. Okay? Displaced behaviors, there's no scientific evidence that they actually tell the dog anything. Licking, yawning, grooming, sniffing, scratching, those are all displaced behaviors. There's nothing in science that says that these are signals to other dogs. Okay? It's a signal to you that the dog is socially conflicted. Definitely is. Okay? But not to the other dog. But appeasement behaviors are.